If you're a regular subscriber, you know that on this channel there's no real brand snobbery. Of course we have our personal favorites, but if it works, it works. Doesn't matter if it's Nikon, Canon, Sony, Fuji, of course. There's a whole bunch of stuff, Panasonic, the list goes on and on and on, and all these brands have great stuff. One lens manufacturer that us Fuji users have been enjoying for a while, and other brands, but for us on the channel, yeah, anyway, it's Samyang, and the distributor has kindly loaned me this Samyang AF 14mm 2.8 EF for Canon. So we're going to throw it on either the 80D or the Mark III just to take advantage of that ultra wide nature of the lens. Obviously with the 80D we'd get a crop factor, so it would no longer be ultra wide, but I think it could still be a fun bit of gear. You'll soon work out what I chose to use, and we're going to see if this thing stands up. Is it really worth it, especially when you compare the price to the Canon official offering? Well, anyway, let's stop waffling and take a look at it close up, then get some random samples on the go, and we'll have a chat at the end and in the comments below to see what we think about it. We've got the usual gubbins, so there's a instruction manual right there. It does remind you this is designed exclusively for the EF mount. You can use adapters with the AFM. I would assume it would work perfectly well with the adapter for the R. Nice bag for the lens there, and the lens itself is going for about £529 on Amazon right now, and it feels solid, high quality plastics. This thing is weather sealed, so very handy for those landscape photographers, for example. I mean, there's a whole bunch of genres you could put it to, but this for me would be pretty cool as a landscape lens if it stands up to the random tests. So it's a focal length of 14mm on the full frame, maximum aperture 2.8 of course, minimum focus distance, which could be interesting, of 0.2 meters, 20 centimeters. I like the sound of that if it works out in practice. And of course autofocus, which is a big deal considering it's coming from a company like Samyang that built their reputation on fine manual lenses and have since got into the autofocus market. And really, you go to a photography show, trade show, and you see people crowding around the AF lenses from Samyang for Sony, Canon, etc. You've got a nice switch there. If you wanted to shoot manual focus, I mean, I'd have probably gone for a different lens, but you've got a nice smooth manual focus ring there. You'll notice across the lens there is nothing else there, no aperture ring, no stabilization switch, nothing like that. But the weather sealing, as we said, should be very nice. It's nice and bright. The 15 lenses in 10 groups in there. There's a whole bunch of other stuff, you know, the high refraction, extra low dispersion. You can get as wide as 116.6 degrees. We need to see how it works basically. I'm a big fan of wide open. I'm a big fan of wide and ultra wide. We're going to take this randomly on just some simple stuff really. I just want to see how it performs. Don't want to be going out into the field at some crazy time in the morning with a lens that just doesn't do it for me. So I want to get out, give it my usual random rough and ready test, and then we can have a conversation afterwards. And of course, while the samples are going on, you can let me know in the comments below if I did this with an 80D, which really I probably shouldn't, or with a Mark III. So let's do that now. Considering this was Samyang's first autofocus lens for the EF mounts, after doing a real good job with the Sony gear, you know what, this is a really nice, let's say, alternative to the Canon version. The Canon version being 3 or more times the price, and I guess fractionally better, but not 3.5 times better for sure, right? I mean, we should put them completely side by side, but yeah, this works real well. The image quality is nice. It does have that Samyang vibe to it, but not as earthy as some of the manual focus lenses. I know what I mean. And it works nice. Shooting wide open, yes, you do get light fall off, which to avoid, you pretty much want to stop down, or you're going to have to correct in post. Yeah, there is that, but the lens still is sharp. Barely any noticeable problems with aberrations, distortions. Well, it is an ultra wide lens when used on a full frame body. Did you guess if I used it on a Mark III or an 80D? Let us know in the comments below. It was a nice lens performance wise too. The autofocus was actually pretty snappy, not the fastest in the world, but perfectly fine for most applications where you would use a lens of this focal length. I mean, 14mm is good fun to play with, and it's definitely no slouch. I would say for what, £529 thereabouts, it's a winner. We really need to get some Duff lenses from Samyang one day. Is that even possible? It's not looking like it. Now I want them to do that with Fuji, which is a whole different ball game. Canon users, yeah, I think you want to get your hands on this. Well built, solid, and an extremely decent performer. Let us know if you've used it in the comments below. Subscribe, and we'll be back with even cooler stuff very soon.